Hey guys, how you doing? So, Formula One versus NASCAR, which do I think personally is better? So first of all, what makes a good racing championship for me? Strategy first of all. So I like to see lots of pit stops. I like to see tires. I like to see fuel playing a part in the racing. I like to see the engineers get involved in the racing. Pit stops. Again, I suppose it's connected to strategy, but I like to see pit stops. I like to see action in the pits. I want to see mistakes. I want to see hiccups. I want to see things going wrong. I want to see differences being made at pit stops. Overtaking, I want to see a lot of overtaking. I want to see people passing and then getting repassed and passing again. I don't really care if it's at the front or the back. I just want to see, a general level of overtaking chaos throughout the field. And, even if that means leaders having to race back markers, so be it. Crashes, obviously, no one wants to see anybody getting hurt, but no getting around it. Accidents, crashes, mistakes, things getting damaged is entertainment. I want to see close racing. I don't want to see the winner leading by 20, 30 seconds. I don't want to see everybody up to fourth position getting lapped. I want to see close racing throughout the field. I don't want the winner to be a foregone conclusion halfway through the race. Speeds, obviously, faster the speeds, the better, or the faster the impression of speed. So Monaco, because it's so tight, the impression speed is there. It seems fast, so I want it to look fast. The racing, I want it to be fast corners. I want it to be ballsy corners, where it's not just down to the car and the chassis. I want to see bravery being part of the driver's arsenal, if you like, his skill arsenal. Who's the tracks? I want to see the track. I want to see good tracks, famous tracks that you look forward to seeing. And the rules in politics, I don't want to see that unless it gets sorted amongst the drivers when they're out on track. I don't want to see the governing body coming in and changing the results of races after the race is finished. So those are the main points that I look for in a racing championship. So let's go through and see, how NASCAR compares to Formula One. So strategy. In Formula One, I suppose you get 1-2 stops. 99%. At NASCAR, on the other hand, you're looking at a minimum of 3 stops. And in reality, you're probably seeing 4 or 5 stops during the race. NASCAR's definitely got the edge. There's definitely more going on in NASCAR. With the pit stops themselves, Formula One, no refueling. You've got no end of guys working on the car. In NASCAR, if I remember rightly, you've got the 2 tire changes, you've got your jack man, and you've got your fueling man. So you've got 4 guys working on the car. In NASCAR, and they're doing the same thing. They're changing 4 tires. Plus, in NASCAR, the wheels are held on, I think, by 5 or 6 bolts, whereas in Formula One, they're center locks. So more room for error in NASCAR. And plus, you've got refueling in NASCAR, which again is another thing that can go wrong. So the pit stops are definitely far more entertaining in NASCAR than Formula One. Overtaking. I think Formula One is better than what it used to be, but still the level of overtaking is nothing like it is in NASCAR, when you may see the lead change 6 times, 10 times, 20 times in a race, depending on the track. They're having a lap. When they're lapping people, the lap guys are also racing the leaders because they don't want to go to a lap down. I cannot compare this, just constant overtaking in NASCAR. Crashes, I think you're seeing less and less crashes in Formula One compared to what you used to back in the day. And because of the nature of the tracks, they're not very spectacular. Well, no, there are less crashes for sure because you've got so much runoff. In NASCAR, big crashes because everyone is so close together. Crashes into walls, multiple car crashes. Again, you can't compare. Again, it depends on the track, but there's a lot more crashing going on in NASCAR. Close racing, Very rarely you will see the leader winning by more than a second or two in NASCAR, whereas in Formula One I think it's common to see the winner winning by 10, 20 seconds. Speed, peak speeds, you know, end of the straight at Monza, top speeds at Spa maybe, Montreal. Okay, the peak speeds are higher, a little bit higher in Formula One over NASCAR. So peak speeds anyway, Formula One's got the edge. Average speeds, NASCAR's got the is far faster. Corners, you know, Formula One has got some ballsy corners. You know, there's got some fast corners, but you know, you can't really call them balls anymore because there's so much runoff on the newer circuits. So it's kind of meaningless if they go offline. But you still do have some. So, well, you know, Blanchimont has been ruined because of the runoff. Eau Rouge, you know, there's runoff there now. Ascari at Monza. Those are the ones that really jump out at me. Then you've got, you know, NASCAR, which is, you know, zero runoff, basically on any track, and you know, the super high-speed corners. You know, very common to see 120, 130, 140, 160 mile an hour corners. They're big corners taking at high speeds in super turbulent air in loads of traffic. So, you know, ballsy corners, NASCAR's absolutely full of them. Whereas Formula One, not so much. You've got personalities, and you know, no one wants to offend anybody in Formula One. No one's saying their opinion anymore.
It shouldn't have happened, of course, but it doesn't matter who to blame.
Senna, Mansell,
Do you
Prost,
feel you moved?
PK
It's a pretty
back in
crappy
the day.
situation.
But you know, they get straight to the point in NASCAR. If a driver doesn't like the other guy, they'll say, "I don't like you."
Sometimes you just don't like a guy.
Whatever it may be. If they have a bit of an incident on track, so there's a bit of door banging goes on to you know, let the other driver know they're not, you know, happy with the way they were behaving.
Oh, he just ran me on a wall, and we collided after that. So.
Personality, if you like. You know, there's personality. They're human, the drivers. They're not robots. You know, even the pit crews get excited in NASCAR. Look, I'm not saying I agree with fisticuffs between pit guys, between tyre changes. I'm not saying I believe in fisticuffs between drivers in the pit lanes after the race, but I do understand it. It is, you know, these guys, for all the reasons, close racing, high speeds, close finishes. You know, we're dealing with human beings at the end of the day. Emotions run high. What happens on the racetrack for me stays on the racetrack. Plus tracks. Well, I suppose it comes down to the corner situation. I mean, you know, Formula One has still got some tracks that, you know, that you look forward to. You know, for me, Monza, Montreal I like, Spa is okay, Suzuka I like. I used to like Adelaide before they got rid of it, but anyway, let's keep the current tracks. Basically, those are the ones I really look forward to. There's not many tracks on the Formula One calendar that I can say I'm really looking forward to seeing anymore, you know? Whereas I can't say the same thing for NASCAR because, you know, Talladega is always a good race. You got Daytona is a good race. You got Bristol is a good race. Like Martinsville is a good race. Dover is a good race. Charlotte has got good racing. But obviously not all the tracks in NASCAR are, you know, something that you look forward to. I'm not really a big fan of, you know, the Michigan races or California Speedway. You got Indianapolis 500. Okay, the racing is not close in NASCAR, but still, it is something that you can look forward to. It is a different type of track. It's got a lot of history there. So, you know, there's many tracks that have got history in NASCAR, and these days you can't really say the same for Formula One. And then you got the rules and the politics. You know, there just seems to be sanctimonious attitudes in Formula One. You know, people always wanting to pounce on drivers for being emotional and expecting drivers to be setting an example under extreme stressful situations. From my point of view, anyone that expects someone to set an example, someone who's in an extremely stressful situation is idiotic, to be honest. The Vettel Hamilton Baku situation last year is probably the prime example of that. I don't like all the afters and all the all that sort of viciousness after. Okay, you can say someone made a mistake, but you can't saying someone's endangering someone's life and they're not setting an example. I think it's just ridiculous, and I don't like all that politics and palaver that goes with Formula One. You get it in NASCAR, but it's more, if you like, it's more good-natured banter in the media, from what I can tell in NASCAR. Like a boys will be boys sort of attitude. Basically, in every aspect that I look for it to be good racing, everything that I look for in a racing championship to be entertaining, NASCAR just blows F1 out of the water. It's just so much more entertaining, NASCAR. And it's just a shame that NASCAR's not on the mainstream TV. And basically Formula One is the only motorsport that's broadcast on mainstream TV, at least in Europe. And I suppose it must put a lot of people off motorsport, because I think all motorsport is like this. Purely from an entertainment point of view, something that I look forward to watching. Am I looking forward to watching the Charlotte 600 this weekend, or am I looking forward to watching the Monaco Grand Prix? I would say definitely I'm looking forward to seeing the Charlotte 600 over Monaco, absolutely. And it is Monaco, I'm not saying Monaco's crap, but Charlotte 600, and then you got the Indy 500 also, but again, I'm digressing. So guys, those are my opinions, NASCAR versus Formula One, which is better. Like I said, it's just my opinion, obviously. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. As always, vote on the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you again next time.